There is a really potent and powerful sense of loneliness that comes with remembering what you truly are. And we go through this in different waves. And the journey of remembering is such an unfolding process. And remembering really is synonymous with removing, because all we're doing is removing obstacles that are in the way to your true nature, which lies deep within you. This is the journey from the old story, the old survival story, to the new soul aligned story. The cage that we created from survival starts to get dismantled, and it's through that process that we start to experience this sense of loneliness. And it can be manifested in different ways. You could be in different situations which don't feel aligned with this new story, that this new soul alignment, remembering that you're going into. You have social networks, you have habits and behaviors that are still there from the old story. And you can already feel the development of conflict and resistance along the way. You can already hear narratives, I shouldn't be doing this, with old habits that were created from the survival self, that were developed through the survival sense of safety, which is the sense of contraction. But when we want to be going into the sense of expansion, into our soul alignment, we want to deeply remember on a soul level why we are here. We want to start creating habits, behaviors, feelings, thoughts that are deeply aligned with our soul purpose for being here. And it's through this process that we have different degrees of loneliness. And it's totally natural to feel like this at different points, because you'll start to notice through this, whilst you're still, the old story is still being expressed, you're going to start having these habits and behaviors and feelings coming in, which are going to be very contrasting to your external world, because it's the gradient process of the inner realignment, then essentially start to reflect into the external world. But it doesn't happen overnight, it happens very gradually. And I feel like there's this deeper purpose when it comes to the old story being reflected back at us, because it's the journey of forgiveness and love and self-compassion for the old story which helps us break away and dissolve the old story. But if we look at the old story and condemn it and feel like it shouldn't be this way, then that keeps us stuck in the old story. We have to look for the deeper purpose of why we were in the old story. And it's always these moments of profound old storyness of suffering, which appears to be the springboard for deeper and deeper degrees of soul alignment. Someone once said that suffering takes us closer to God. And that is, I've experienced the truth of that in a really profound way. Suffering in really deep degrees is the profound entanglement in the old story. And it's not something that's just been going on in this life. We're talking about multiple lives over eons of time, individually, but as well as collectively, which meet us in the now moment. So it's not going to be a boom town. That's it. New story here. It doesn't work like that. We have to learn along the way. It seems to be the divine design has these markers and points of different things to learn and grow from, to help us resolve this old story. And it is the remembering is just the removal and the dissolving of the old story. And it's through this process you can have different degrees of feeling lonely. But once you start to look at the deeper purpose of the old story, and you start to be able to look at the old story, even if it's being reflected back at you through different people, situations, circumstances, one way or another, it's being reflected back at you. But once you can look at it and observe it from a loving capacity and very objectively, and be like, okay, this is the old story. That in itself, right there, you can feel the difference with that way and quality of observation, which helps dissolve it. Because once you go into that, and instead of condemning it, of like saying, why is this old story playing out? I did a video recently talking about this, about the sentence that keeps you stuck. And it's keeping you stuck in that old story. The mental conversations, the feelings, we keep observing it. We keep putting our attention and focus on it. But it's the journey of moving our awareness to the new story, to the new feelings, seeing old feelings and stories playing out, but increasing our pattern recognition in the moment. That's essentially what pattern recognition is to see the old story for what it is, not true. It is not true. It is a false dream that has been playing out. But we want to, we're moving into our true nature. We're going into the eternal self, the true self, our true nature. We're moving into the Tao. We're moving into the way, the effortless way. And we're going from that resistance and contraction, which is precipitated from the old story, into this new story of soul alignment. And it's within this inner world, this inner dance, this how we navigate our inner world is very determinant on how we let go of the old story. And it's through that observational pattern recognition capacity. And when we're in the old story, we are full up of content. We are full up of mental noise. We are full up of contraction. Our body is expressed in tension, contracted tension, mental noise, all breaking us down, all building up from this survival energy, this survival paradigm, this survival mechanism playing out within us. But that's why we have those habits and behaviors, which is another one of the other reasons why we might start feeling loneliness, because we're going to start doing things to help us process through that. And it's through that doingness that you'll start to recognize that not many other people are doing this. How many other people in your world right now are really choosing pattern recognition, that are healing their nervous system, that are getting up every day, maybe 2 hours earlier than what they have been? Things are shifted in big ways. Are people looking at you a little bit funny? People are going to start looking at you funny when you're desiring to come into alignment. You're desiring to follow a new story because you're surrounded by loads of people that are following the old story, and that's totally fine. That's their process, and it's almost to a certain degree irrelevant what they're doing. It's more important what you are doing and what you are choosing in the now moment, because you choosing the new story is helping people that are not choosing the new story come deeper into their alignment. You're helping everyone along the way, even in the world of appearance, may be showing you the complete opposite. It may feel not beneficial at all to be following the new story. It may feel very counterproductive to follow the new story, to step away, because we're coming away from that uncomfortable familiar which we're all living in. But you, my friend, you are ready to start breaking free from that. You've had enough of that uncomfortable marination of that cage that's been created. You just feel this deeper calling to break free from whatever it is, this energetic feeling, this deep calling to start ascending from these lower, dense unfoldings that are happening from that survival nature. So where are you on your journey right now, my friend? What's going on with you? Are you telling the new story? Are you applying courage? Are you willing to start really stepping away from that? Are you experiencing any loneliness at the minute? If you are, just keep trusting that deeper purpose of that old story needing to be played out. I often use the analogy of when a ship stops its engine, it still takes a couple of miles before it actually stops. And it's very similar to these survival patterns in this old story playing out. Maybe the engine's turned off on lots of things, but we've got to allow the patterns, the energetic unraveling of that to just play out. And that playing out is how you feel, think, behave, as well as that what is reflected back at you all along the way. There's going to be different degrees of contrast along the way. So feel free to share in the comments where you are right now on your remembering journey. I would love to hear. Let's make a little bit of a community here so where you can share where we're all at and feel into it and support each other along the way. So until the next video, my friend, sending you so much love, and I cannot wait to see you already in the next video.